On the technologically advanced planet of Zalora, the Council of Elders gathered in a vast chamber adorned with shimmering crystals and luminescent flora. The atmosphere buzzed with heated debate as scholars presented their findings on ancient civilizations among them. The tales of a species known as humans, with a mixture of skepticism and disdain. A prominent elder named Vokar spoke up to challenge the myths that had persisted for centuries. He believed the stories were mere fabrications, created by primitive beings desperate for meaning in a vast universe. As Vokar outlined his argument, he dismissed the tales of human bravery, intellect, and creativity, declaring them relics of a bygone era. The council members nodded in agreement, their faces reflecting a mix of disbelief and superiority. They saw themselves as the pinnacle of evolution, and viewed the existence of humans as an affront to their superiority, a waste of time and resources to investigate something so clearly non-existent. But among the council, a young scholar named Zara listened intently, her mind racing with curiosity and ambition. She had always felt drawn to the stories of humans, captivated by their potential and complexity. Unlike her peers, she refused to accept that these beings were nothing more than myths. Her heart raced at the thought of uncovering the truth. She raised her hand and spoke boldly, her voice steady and determined. What if humans are real? What if they possess qualities that we cannot even begin to understand? She proposed, her eyes shining with excitement. The room fell silent as the council members turned to her with a mix of disbelief and intrigue. Zara continued to argue that discovering the truth about humans could lead to groundbreaking advancements in their own society, a chance to learn from another civilization that had once thrived in the cosmos. Her passion ignited a flicker of interest among some council members, while others remained entrenched in their skepticism. After a lengthy discussion, Zara's fervor finally swayed the council to consider an expedition to Earth, a chance to prove or disprove the existence of humans once and for all. With the mission approved, Zara was appointed as the lead researcher. She gathered a team of diverse individuals from various disciplines, each with unique skills and perspectives. Excitedly, they began preparations for their journey. As they designed their ship outfitted with advanced technology capable of interstellar travel, Zara felt a sense of purpose enveloping her. As the ship's launch date approached, Zara found herself immersed in training sessions and simulations studying Earth's environment, cultures, and potential human behavior. She often stayed up late poring over data and ancient texts, absorbing every detail. She could find she was driven by a desire to not only prove her colleagues wrong, but also to experience the wonders of humanity for herself. Finally, the day of departure arrived. The crew assembled on the launch pads, surrounded by the pulsating lights of their ship. Zara looked around at her teammates, their expressions filled with excitement and apprehension. They shared a common goal, yet each held their own motivations for venturing into the unknown. As the engines roared to life, Zara felt a surge of adrenaline. She was about to embark on the adventure of a lifetime. The ship ascended into the sky, leaving the familiar landscape of Zalora behind. As they traveled through the cosmos, Zara gazed out at the stars, her heart racing with anticipation. They were not just searching for humans, they were embarking on a journey that would challenge their understanding of life itself. As the ship hurtled toward Earth, she whispered a silent promise to herself that she would uncover the truth about humanity, no matter what it took. As the ship approached Earth, the crew prepared for their descent. Zara felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. The vibrant blue planet spun below them, a breathtaking sight she had only seen in simulations. The atmosphere shimmered with a hint of mystery and possibility. Her heart raced at the thought of what lay ahead. The ship's systems alerted them to the presence of a thick forest. As they scanned for a suitable landing site, Zara pointed to a clearing nestled between towering trees. The crew worked together to navigate the ship through the thick canopy. Finally touching down with a gentle thud, the engines hummed softly as they powered down. The team exchanged nervous glances, excitement crackling in the air. Zara led the way as they disembarked, stepping onto the soft earth, her senses flooded with new experiences. The air was rich with scents of damp soil, unblooming flora. A symphony of sounds surrounded them. Birds chirped in the distance and leaves rustled overhead. They were not alone in this vibrant ecosystem. The crew gathered their gear, preparing to explore the terrain that had been home to humans for centuries. Equipped with scanners and communication devices, they ventured deeper into the forest. Zara felt an exhilarating sense of discovery driving her forward each step, a reminder that they were about to uncover a reality long dismissed by her people. The thrill of the unknown surged through her veins as they trekked through the underbrush, scanning for any signs of human life. Hours passed as they explored the lush landscape filled with curious plants and strange creatures. Each moment heightened their anticipation. But as the day waned and shadows lengthened, doubts began to creep into Zara's mind. Had they made a mistake? Had they wasted resources on a wild goose chase? As the sun dipped below the horizon, the forest transformed into an alien world cloaked in darkness. Just as the crew was about to regroup and reassess their mission, a flicker of light caught Zara's eye. She motioned for her team to be silent. As they approached the source of the glow weaving through the trees, they emerged into a small clearing, illuminated by a campfire. At its center sat a human figure wrapped in a thick blanket. Zara's heart raced. This was it a real human? She had only read about them in ancient texts and seen glimpses in holographic images, but here was a living, breathing example of the species. Her mind whirled with questions as they quietly observed the human, who appeared to be lost in thought, gazing into the flames. Her heart thudded in her chest. The moment felt surreal, yet this was not just a discovery. It was a chance to bridge the vast chasm that separated their worlds. With cautious determination, Zara stepped forward, her voice barely above a whisper. She called out to the human, startling him from his reverie. The human turned wide-eyed, his expression shifting from confusion to fear as he assessed the strange beings before him. The crew held their breath, unsure of how to proceed, but Zara knew this was a pivotal moment. She raised her hands in a gesture of peace and stepped closer to show that they meant no harm. Alex, the human, stammered, his words tumbling out as he took in the sight of the aliens, his instincts urging him to flee, yet something in Zara's demeanor made him hesitate, curiosity flickering in his eyes. The tension hung thick in the air as they stood on the precipice of an extraordinary encounter, neither side fully aware of the impact this meeting would have on their futures. Zara watched as the human's initial fear shifted to curiosity. His wide eyes scanned her form, taking in the vibrant colors of her skin and the shimmering patterns that danced across her suit. She could sense the confusion radiating from him as he struggled to comprehend the reality of their encounter. Taking a deep breath, Zara stepped closer, lowering her hands to her sides. She spoke slowly and clearly, hoping her tone would convey reassurance. "This is not a threat," she said. "We come in peace. We are explorers from another world. We seek to understand the truth about humans." Alex blinked, processing her words. Though they seemed strange coming from a being so unlike him, he felt an inexplicable urge to engage with her. There was a spark of connection that transcended the boundaries of their vastly different worlds. After a moment, he managed to respond, his voice trembling slightly. "What do you mean humans are real? You're not just a dream or something?" Zara shook her head, smiling slightly. "No, we are very much real." She gestured to her crew, who stood a short distance away, watching with a mix of fascination and caution. Alex took a step forward, cautiously intrigued. Despite his instincts urging him to flee, he had always been drawn to the unknown, the strange stories he had heard about aliens. And now here they were standing before him, the embodiment of everything he had ever imagined. "Why are you here?" he asked, the question hanging heavy in the air. Zara took a moment to gather her thoughts. She wanted to convey the importance of their mission, while respecting his need for answers. "We come from Zalora, a planet far from here. We have heard tales of humans, and wish to discover if they are real. She replied, we wanted to learn about your kind, to see if the stories were true. Alex's mind raced. He had grown up hearing tales of strange creatures from the sky, beings that could manipulate time and space. The myths had been a source of both fear and fascination for him. Now, standing before one of those creatures, he felt the weight of disbelief lifting. He found himself leaning into the moment, as if gravity itself had shifted. "So you really believe we're myths?" he asked, a hint of amusement in his voice. Zara nodded, her expression earnest. "Yes, many do. We thought humans were simply stories invented to explain the unexplained until now." A smile broke across Alex's face as the absurdity of the situation settled in. A laugh escaped him. He couldn't believe he was standing in front of an alien being who had traveled across the cosmos. To find him, it felt like something out of a sci-fi movie. As they exchanged stories, Zara shared details about Zilora, the advancements in their technology, the beautiful landscapes that thrived under their son. Alex opened up about his life on Earth, the struggles and triumphs of humanity, the beauty of their art, and the power of their emotions. Each revelation deepened their connection and broke down the barriers that had once separated them. The night deepened around them as the campfire crackled, casting warm shadows on their faces. They became lost in conversation, the stars twinkling above as they shared their worlds with one another. A bond formed in that clearing, a bond that would challenge everything both of them believed about the universe and their place within it. But as dawn approached, a tension lingered in the air. Zara knew their encounter was only the beginning. The questions loomed large. What would happen when her crew returned to Zilora with the truth? What would the Council say when faced with undeniable evidence of humanity? And could they trust Alex to help bridge the gap between their species? The journey ahead promised to be filled with challenges, but together they could rewrite the narratives that had long shaped their worlds. As dawn broke, the forest was bathed in soft golden light. Zara and Alex sat beside the dying embers of the campfire, their conversation lingering in the cool morning air, both of them aware that this moment was a turning point for their worlds. Zara felt a mix of exhilaration and apprehension, knowing that their time together was limited. Her crew would soon want to regroup, and she needed to ensure that Alex understood the importance of what they were doing. Zara turned to Alex, her expression serious, as she contemplated how to explain the complexities of their mission. "Alex, do you understand why we are here?" she asked. He nodded, but the uncertainty in his eyes betrayed his confusion. "What if they don't believe you?" he asked, the thought hanging heavily between them. "What if they dismiss everything you say?" Zara took a deep breath. The prospect of her people rejecting the truth was daunting, but she felt a surge of determination. "I have to make them see the reality of humanity," she replied. "We cannot let fear and disbelief cloud our judgment. We need to show them that humans are more than myths." "You have to help me, Alex. We need to work together." Alex felt a thrill of purpose at her words. The idea of being part of something greater than himself ignited a fire within him. He had always yearned for adventure, but never imagined he would play a role in interstellar diplomacy. He looked into Zara's eyes and nodded fiercely. "I will help you, whatever it takes." As they spoke, the rest of the crew began to stir from their sleep. Zara called them over, introducing Alex with a sense of pride. She explained their mission and the bond they had formed. During the night, her crew listened intently, some still skeptical, while others appeared fascinated by the prospect of working alongside a human. After sharing breakfast, the team discussed their next steps. It was clear they needed to gather more information about humans to present a comprehensive report to the Council of Elders. Zara suggested they visit nearby towns to observe human behavior and gather data. Alex offered to guide them, confident that he could navigate the complexities of human society. The crew agreed to the plan, and together they set off toward the nearest town, excitement buzzing in the air. Alex led the way through the winding forest trails, sharing stories about the local culture, the diverse communities that thrived just beyond the trees. As they approached the town, Zara felt a rush of anticipation, mingled with apprehension. She knew that this was a critical moment for both their species. As they entered the town, the bustling atmosphere enveloped them. Humans hurried about their daily lives, unaware of the extraordinary visitors. In their midst, Zara and her crew marveled at the sights and sounds, the colorful shops, the lively chatter, and the aroma of freshly baked goods filled the air. It was a world unlike any they had known. Alex took them to a cafe where they could observe people interacting. He explained the nuances of human behavior, from body language to emotional expressions. Zara watched intently, fascinated by the complexity of human connections, the laughter, the arguments, the shared moments of joy and sorrow. She began to see the truth behind the stories she had longed to believe. As the day unfolded, they gathered observations and notes documenting every detail they could find. Zara felt the thrill of discovery surging within her as she realized they were not just studying humans, they were learning about life itself, the beauty of connection, and the resilience of a species that had faced countless challenges. However, as they prepared to leave the cafe, Zara noticed a group of humans watching them, their eyes filled with curiosity and suspicion. Something about their stares sent a shiver down her spine. She could sense that they were on the brink of being discovered. The tension in the air was palpable, and Zara knew they had to act fast. She turned to her crew, urging them to remain calm, while Alex explained that they were simply tourists eager to learn about Earth. It was a fragile moment, and Zara's heart raced as she wondered how the humans would react to their presence. Would they embrace the unknown or turn against it? Would this encounter lead to understanding or fear and division? Zara felt the weight of the moment pressing down on her as the group of humans continued to stare, their curiosity mixed with suspicion and uncertainty. She exchanged glances with her crew, who appeared equally tense. The atmosphere crackled with anticipation, and she knew they had to navigate this delicate situation with care. Alex stepped forward, his voice steady as he addressed the onlookers. "We are just visitors," he said with an easy smile. "Tourists exploring your wonderful world." He gestured toward the cafe and its vibrant surroundings. The humans exchanged glances as they took in the peculiar sight of the alien crew adorned in their colorful attire. Zara could see the tension begin to ease, but she knew they had to maintain this fragile sense of normalcy. As they mingled with the locals, Zara focused on absorbing every detail around her, the laughter of children playing in the park, the chatter of friends sharing meals, the passionate discussions among people debating various topics. It was a vivid tapestry of life that unfolded before her eyes, and she felt herself becoming more connected to this world with each passing moment. Alex guided them through the town, pointing out landmarks and sharing anecdotes about the community. The stories flowed easily between them as Zara asked questions, eager to learn more. She was fascinated by the intricacies of human relationships and emotions, the way people interacted with one another so effortlessly. Meanwhile, Zara's crew observed the humans' reactions, carefully taking notes and documenting everything they witnessed. They marveled at the beauty of human expression, the joy and pain that seemed to intertwine in every interaction they witnessed, how humans were capable of both kindness and conflict. It was a dance of complexity that left them in awe. But as they walked through the bustling streets, Zara noticed a small group of humans lingering at the edge of the cafe, their expressions shifting from curiosity to suspicion once again. She could sense the tension building, a knot forming in her stomach. She turned to Alex, her voice urgent. "We should move on before they get too curious." Alex nodded, sensing her unease. He led the group down a side street, hoping to distance themselves from the gathering crowd. But the whispers followed them, a ripple of uncertainty spreading through the town as people began to realize that something unusual was happening. As they turned a corner, Zara caught sight of a young girl watching them, her eyes wide with wonder and innocence. She seemed captivated by the sight of the aliens, her face illuminated by curiosity. Zara felt a surge of warmth at the girl's gaze, as if she represented the potential for understanding between their species. Encouraged by the girl's reaction, Zara leaned down, offering a friendly smile, and a wave the girl's expression shifted from curiosity to delight. And she waved back her laughter, ringing out like music in the air. Zara felt a sense of hope wash over her. In that moment, she realized that despite the fear and suspicion, there was also an openness to connection. But just as the tension began to dissipate, a loud shout echoed from behind them, a voice filled with alarm. Someone had spotted them. The crowd that had once been curious now turned into a thrumming mass of confusion, and fear whispers of aliens spread like wildfire through the streets. Panic began to ripple as people reacted to the sight of beings they could not understand. Zara felt her heart race as she exchanged worried glances with her crew. She knew they needed to act quickly, but the atmosphere had shifted dramatically. Fear was taking hold, and she could see that the situation was spiraling out of control. Alex stepped forward, his voice raised to be heard above the growing chaos. "We mean you no harm. We are here to learn. We just want to understand your world." But the words seemed to fall flat in the face of rising fear. Zara's mind raced with possibilities. What could they do to calm the crowd, to show that they were not a threat? She took a deep breath. Steeling herself, she needed to reach the humans, not just with words, but with actions that demonstrated their intent to bridge the divide that had suddenly widened between them. Zara felt the urgency of the moment gripping her as she scanned the crowd, their faces a mix of fear and confusion. She knew that words alone would not suffice to quell their panic. She needed to show them the truth of her intentions, the essence of what it meant to be an explorer, not a conqueror. Without thinking, she stepped forward, her heart pounding. As she raised her hands once more in a gesture of peace, she focused on the young girl who had waved at her earlier. The innocence in the child's eyes reminded her of the potential for understanding that existed between their species. She smiled warmly, hoping to convey sincerity to the crowd. "Watch," she called out, trying to project confidence. "We are not here to harm anyone. We come with open hearts to learn and share. Let me show you who we are." She reached into her pack, retrieving a small device, a holographic projector that would display images of Zalora and her people. She activated it, and vibrant images sprang to life above them, showcasing the beauty of her world, the stunning landscapes, the harmony of life that thrived there. The crowd fell silent, captivated by the unfolding images, their fear momentarily forgotten as they gazed at the breathtaking vistas of distant mountains, shimmering oceans, and lush forests. They watched as scenes of Zaloran celebrations filled the air. Joyous moments of laughter and unity among her people flashed before their eyes. Zara could see the wonder replacing the fear in their expressions. She pressed on. "This is our home," she explained passionately. "We cherish life and creativity. Just as you do, we seek knowledge and understanding." She gestured toward Alex, who stood beside her. "We are here to learn from you, to connect, not to invade or destroy." Slowly, murmurs of curiosity rippled through the crowd as Zara continued to share stories of her culture and people. She spoke of art, music, and the shared struggles that transcended worlds, the hopes and dreams that echoed in the hearts of both humans and Zilorans. The stories began to weave a thread of connection between the two species. Alex stepped forward, sensing the shift in the crowd. He added, "My people have faced challenges, just as yours have. We have dreams and fears. We share a love for our families and a desire for peace, Zara. And I want to explore the possibility of friendship between our worlds. Together, we can learn from one another." The atmosphere began to change as the crowd listened intently. Zara could see the uncertainty in their eyes beginning to fade, the fear transforming into curiosity and fascination. They had witnessed something extraordinary, a glimpse into a reality they had never imagined possible. But just as hope began to blossom, a figure emerged from the back of the crowd, an older man, his expression stern and resolute. He raised his voice, cutting through the murmur. "You are not welcome here," he declared, fear and anger lacing his words. "This is not a game. You are not to be trusted." Zara's heart sank at the man's words, But she refused to let despair take hold. She turned to Alex, and then back to the crowd. "We understand your fears. We are not asking for blind trust, only an opportunity to show you who we are," she pleaded. "We want to bridge the gap between our worlds, not widen it." The crowd was torn on expressing agreement, while others remained steadfast in their distrust. The older man continued to speak, rallying those who shared his fears, but Zara could sense a shift. The seed of curiosity had been planted, and it was growing stronger with every moment. In that pivotal instant, Zara knew they were at a crossroads. She could either retreat into the shadows of doubt, or continue to push forward with courage. She took a deep breath, steeling herself for what was to come. She believed in the power of connection and the potential for understanding, even in the face of adversity. She would not back down. They were explorers seeking to forge a path toward a future filled with hope and possibility for both their species. The tension in the air was palpable. As Zara faced the crowd, she could feel the weight of their collective gaze pressing down on her. She knew that this was a crucial moment, a test of her resolve, and the bond she had formed with Alex. She took a step closer to the older man, her voice steady yet compassionate. "I understand your fears," she said. "The universe is vast and strange. It is natural to be wary of the unknown, but we are not here to cause harm." The man's brow furrowed as he crossed his arms, his expression skeptical and defiant. "You claim to seek peace, yet you are not of this world. How can we trust beings who come from the stars?" He challenged. The crowd murmured in agreement, nodding their heads. Some exchanged glances with one another. As uncertainty flickered in their eyes, Zara realized that she needed to address their concerns directly. "I know that our appearance may be alarming," Zara replied, "but we are not so different at our core. We seek connection and understanding. We are driven by curiosity. Just as you are, we all want to know our place in the universe." She paused, letting her words sink in. As she scanned the faces before her, she could see glimmers of doubt giving way to intrigue. Alex stepped forward, sensing the importance of solidarity. "We face challenges every day," he said. "Each of us has our struggles, our hopes and dreams. We may come from different worlds, but our hearts yearn for the same things: connection, love, peace." He gestured towards Zara, her presence radiating sincerity. "She has shown me that there is beauty in the unknown, and that together we can explore new possibilities." The crowd began to murmur again, their expressions shifting as they considered Alex's words. Zara could see the flickers of curiosity reigniting as they exchanged glances. A few individuals stepped forward, drawn in by the sincerity of the two beings before them. The fear that had once gripped them slowly dissipated as Zara and Alex shared more stories about their worlds. But just as hope began to rise, a louder voice broke through the crowd. A man with a commanding presence emerged, pushing through the onlookers. He wore a uniform that indicated he was part of the local authorities. His eyes narrowed as he assessed the situation. "This is unacceptable," he declared. "You must leave at once. You have no right to be here." Zara's heart raced as she recognized the authority in his voice. The crowd hesitated, torn between fear and curiosity. She stepped forward once more, her voice firm yet respectful. "We mean no harm. We only wish to learn and share. We want to understand your culture and explore the possibility of friendship." The officer's expression softened slightly, but he remained resolute. "You are not authorized to be here," he insisted. "Your presence is causing unrest among the citizens. I must ask you to leave immediately." Zara felt the weight of disappointment wash over her, but she refused to let it extinguish the flame of hope. She turned to Alex, who nodded encouragingly. They had come too far to back down now. She had to find a way to bridge this divide. "We understand your concerns," she said, "and we will comply with your request. But please allow us to show you one last demonstration of our goodwill." She implored, "Let us share something of our culture, something that can help illustrate our intentions." She looked into the officer's eyes, searching for any sign of openness. The officer hesitated, his posture relaxing slightly. The crowd watched in silence, a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. hanging in the air, Zara seized the moment. If we can demonstrate our abilities to create beauty and connection, perhaps you will see that we come in peace. She said, we are not a threat, we are explorers seeking to understand the tapestry of life across the stars. After a tense moment, the officer nodded, slowly gesturing for them to proceed, but he maintained his stance, ready to intervene. Should things go awry, Zara felt a surge of hope. As she turned to her crew, they had prepared for this moment, back on Zalora, and now it was time to share their gifts with humanity. With a deep breath, Zara activated her holographic device, once more this time projecting images of Zaloran art, vibrant colors, swirling in beautiful patterns. The display danced above them, mesmerizing the crowd. She added sounds of music from her world, harmonizing with the visuals, creating a symphony that filled the air. As the images and sounds intertwined, the crowd began to shift, drawn in by the beauty of what they were witnessing. Even the officer's expression softened as he took in the display. Zara felt her heart soar as she saw the wonder blooming on the faces of those around her. This was the moment she had longed for, the chance to connect and share the essence of her people with those who had once viewed them as mere myths. As the vibrant images danced in the air, the crowd shifted their focus, entranced by the beauty and creativity unfolding before them. Zara felt a swell of hope surge within her. The music enveloped them, creating an atmosphere of unity and understanding. She watched as faces that had once been filled with fear now expressed wonder and curiosity. The power of art had begun to break down the barriers that had separated them. Zara turned to Alex, who stood beside her, a look of awe on his face. He had witnessed the transformation taking place, and it filled him with a sense of purpose. Together, they had sparked a moment of connection that transcended their differences. She felt a renewed determination to seize this opportunity to foster a bond that could change the course of their worlds. The officer's stern demeanor softened as he listened to the harmonious melodies mixing with the vivid projections. He shifted his weight uncertainly, and Zara seized the moment to speak directly to him. You see, she said, her voice rising above the music, we are not here to conquer or destroy. We are here to learn from you, to share our stories and experiences in the hopes of creating something beautiful together. As the final notes of the music faded, the crowd erupted into applause, cheers echoing through the town. The officer stood frozen for a moment before slowly joining in the applause, his initial resistance faltering in the face of shared appreciation. Zara could see that the tide had turned, the atmosphere transformed from fear to celebration. With a newfound sense of camaraderie, Zara addressed the crowd once more. Thank you for allowing us to share a piece of our culture. She said, this is just the beginning. We wish to learn more about your lives, your stories, and your dreams. If you would have us, we can work together to explore the wonders of both our worlds. The crowd began to murmur in excitement, a sense of possibility swirling around them as people began to step forward, eager to engage with the aliens that had once seemed so frightening. They approached with smiles, curiosity glinting in their eyes, and Zara felt the warmth of connection growing stronger. In that moment, the older man who had initially opposed their presence approached Zara. His expression had shifted from distrust to intrigue. I was wrong, he admitted, his voice steady. You have shown us something remarkable. Perhaps we can find a way to learn from one another. Zara felt a surge of joy at his words. She nodded gratefully. Thank you for your openness. She replied, together we can forge a new path, one that embraces the unknown and values our shared humanity. The officer stepped forward and extended his hand. We will need to establish guidelines for this collaboration, he said. But I believe it is time to explore the potential of this friendship. He looked to the crowd. We have much to learn from these visitors, and they from us. As the crowd cheered, Zara felt a sense of triumph wash over her. She had come to Earth, seeking to uncover the truth about humanity, and now they were on the brink of something extraordinary, a partnership that could change everything for both their species. Over the following days, Zara and her crew began to immerse themselves in human culture, working alongside Alex and the townspeople to share knowledge and experiences. They organized community events where they showcased their technology and art while learning about human traditions and values. The bond between the two species deepened as they shared stories of their struggles and triumphs. They engaged in open dialogues about their histories, exploring the vast landscapes of both Zilora and Earth, forging connections that transcended the boundaries of their worlds. As Zara stood beneath the stars one night surrounded by friends from both worlds, she felt a profound sense of gratitude. This journey had begun with skepticism and disbelief, but had blossomed into a celebration of unity and understanding. They had rewritten the narrative of fear into one of hope and collaboration. Together, they had taken the first steps toward a future where two worlds could coexist in harmony, a future filled with the promise of exploration and friendship, a future where humans were no longer myths but partners in the vast tapestry of life across the cosmos.